Sanders, you have UNLV
Yes.
winning the Mountain West
Yes.
and making the college football playoff because of that. Is there a reason for that, good sir?
Yeah, so they went 11-3 last year, and then they bring in Dan Mullen, who Dan Mullen's tenure at Florida was very underwhelming. But
For them.
that's kind of the thing I was going to get to is Dan Mullen, when the expectations are not Florida's expectations, has been good. At Mississippi State, he was a very good head coach by our standards, and I think that the expectations at Florida were just too much for him. So you put him in that UNLV situation where the expectations are much lower, the pressure is much lower, and then you also give him an opportunity. I think it's going to go well. I think that the schedule is light enough. I'm not too concerned about Boise State. I know y'all both picked them to win the conference.
Yeah.
So
You're not concerned?
As picking UNLV, if I were a UNLV fan, I wouldn't be too concerned about Boise State. I think losing Ashton Jeanty is going to be – Ashton Jeanty was that offense. I think that's like the best way of saying that. I
think it's a little disrespectful to Maddox Madsen, but
I
mean, he was the engine.
Correct. He was the engine, and I will be concerned if I were a Boise State fan that we were going to see a drop off now that he doesn't have the safety blanket and the defense doesn't have the pressure of Ashton Jeanty, right? I mean, if you're putting 8 guys in the box to stop a guy who's still averaging like 6 yards a carry against 8 guys in the box, that makes it a lot easier to like run play action.
Sure.
So that's kind of where my concern for Boise State comes is what is that offense going to look like without defenses having to game plan or solely around Ashton Jeanty. I think Dan Mullen has a couple interesting quarterbacks in, like you said, the Virginia guy Anthony Calandria, and then Alex Orji. Definitely not starters. I mean, both of them have spent time at P4 schools and have now transferred down to a G5 school. But I think that he can run the offense that he wants to run. Tucker pointed out it's a Chris Ralph playbook. Like
What
Dan
a pull,
Mullen,
man. I miss that guy.
Dan Mullen has coached around quarterbacks like this in the past and done it successfully. Both guys can move and get it done with their legs, and that's kind of how he's always coached. That's the quarterback he's always had. Not to compare either of these guys to Tim Tebow, but he's done it with Tim Tebow, Chris Ralph, Dak Prescott, like
Nick Fitzgerald.
Exactly. The mobile quarterbacks are his bread and butter. So I think Dan Mullen is going to have a lot of success there, and I think that Boise State is going to take a step back. So that's why I've got UNLV, even though they're not favored to Boise State. Boise State is still a good pick. And I do think that the only way that I think the G5 playoff team doesn't come out of here is because I think these teams play in the regular season.
They do.
Is if they both drop a P4 game. So UNLV has UCLA. Boise State, I don't know who they have.
Notre Dame.
Thank you. So if they both drop a P4 game and then they split the series, regular season and conference championship, that could end up kicking both teams out of the playoff. That would be my one fear, or my one, that's how the teams don't or they both just
I'm going to say, the rest of the Mountain West is not so bad that you're just going to cakewalk through it.
That's true.
There's a chance that they both drop games elsewhere.
But I think that's like the most likely scenario is those teams, the UNLV and Boise State split, and that ends up hurting both of them.